Hey, my Legion, how y'all doing today? I'm here today with two movie reviews. And also, I want to include my personal history of these two movies. I'm going to do the first one, this one first. I have a history with the second one, actually, more. The first one is, I'm doing the first one first because it's a Burt Reynolds movie. It's more of a, kind of a forgotten Burt Reynolds movie he did back in 1981 called Paternity. And I remember seeing this is back when they used to have full page ads in the paper. They used to have big ads for movies and stuff like that, especially driving horror films and stuff in the paper. And the ad for the movie, I never forget it was he pointed at Burt Reynolds. I have a little bit of the on a thumbnail from the TV trailer. He pointed and said Burt Reynolds, he wants you to have his baby and stuff like that. And it's about, well, I'll tell you, I mean, it was reviewed on Cisco and Ebert. This back in '81. This is when they still were on doing sneak previews before they had their own show. Cisco and Ebert, Cisco and Ebert at the movies or whatever it was, because they had like three different shows. And when they was when they were still on PBS, and I remember they both hated it like usual. And I never saw it at the theater. I always wanted to. I'm a big Burt Reynolds fan. I did that last movie star that was just on Amazon for free. And this one, someone actually had a link because I was looking for some of his other ones that were harder to find. Someone had a link to. Someone actually has Paternity on YouTube for free. So I watched it yesterday, which is Sunday, and I'm gonna put this up 5 o'clock. When this is up, I'll be at work. I'll still be at work. I don't get off till after 6. And basically, I didn't see it at the theater, and I only saw it on TV. And this is back when we used to just have cable. And we had cable the whole time. I mean, through the 60s, 70s, and 80s, my dad was like, well, they don't come out to the country. I know in Albion they had cable, and in Edinburgh they had cable. My dad always wanted to get cable when it started to be a big thing back in '81 or something like that. I think it started out in '78 or HBO started out in '78, and we never had cable. We just had like the regular rabbit ears, but we could get Canadian TV, so that was kind of like our cable because they had movies uncut on there. Well, anyways, we just had regular network TV, and I remember they had Paternity, a PG-rated movie, on NBC Night at the Movies, the Monday Night at the Movies. I remember watching it there. And that was the last time I've ever seen it. I've never seen it uncut. I've never seen it anywhere else. It's hard to find. And then I saw the comments at the bottom of the movie link, and people were saying, boy, this is a hard movie to find. And so basically what the movie's about is it starts this one guy, Burt Reynolds, and he manages events at Madison Square Garden. He makes a lot of money. A lot of money. He's like the big guy. And he was voted, I guess, most eligible guy in New York. And he likes kids, though. I mean, not in a bad way, in a good way. I mean, he's like a good guy. This was directed by David Steinberg, who was big at the time. Those people probably don't remember him now. And he basically, what he wanted was, he liked kids, but he didn't want to get married or get in a big-time relationship. So he wanted to look for a surrogate mother to have his baby because he wanted something to leave his fortune to. And eventually, he goes for a bunch of people, and he finds Beverly D'Angelo, who was real popular for playing, probably most famous for playing Clark Griswold's wife in the Vacation movies, the good ones, not that lousy Ed Helms remake. That was beyond abysmal. Vegas Vacation wasn't the greatest, but it was sure better than that. Vegas Vacation was only okay. And basically, it ends up turning into kind of like a romantic comedy, but it gets a little bit weird at times. My only real problem, hang up I had, something I think he was a little bit too mean to Beverly D'Angelo in some parts. But I mean, it would like, he'd be the surrogate mother, right? And she'd get pregnant, but she would be able to stay with him in his place, but I mean, in a guest room. And she agreed to pay. I mean, it's like kind of like a romantic comedy. I really liked it. Not his best movie, but it's very enjoyable. I give it an 8.5 out of 10. I really liked it. And like I said, the full page ad was him pointing. Well, I mentioned I said Burt Reynolds wanted to have your kid. So that's Paternity. And that's a hard to find movie. I would look for some other stuff. And I actually forgot about Paternity. Most time people do. Because around that time he did some romantic comedy. He did a movie with Goldie Hawn called Best Friends, which I still have not seen. And then he did a Blake Edwards movie called The Man Who Loved Women, which I thought was boring. I mean, there was one slapstick scene which was really funny. But I mean, I remember watching in Germany, most of it was just talking to psychiatrist Julie Andrews. You know, I saw it on AFN when I was supposed to be working, Armed Forces Network, when I was in Germany. That was a boring movie, except for that one scene. But I watched the whole thing. So the next movie is called Fear is the Key. And this is growing up, like I said, we just pretty much had rabbit ear TV. I know this one guy actually called it, I never heard this term before, called it farmer's cable. Just the rabbit ears and stuff like that. And 70s and 80s, and there was a whole bunch of movies. This is back before infomercials kind of ruined local broadcasting. When they used to have show like movies and stuff like that on regular network TV. And basically was, there was movies that came on that I always wanted to watch with me and my dad, usually. The one was Stowaway. We watched a few times. That was on NBC, and then sometimes it was on the network, and then sometimes local stations would play at different hours, their own copies of it. And then I know ABC had, and this is the local station, not the main network, showed It Came From Beneath the Sea a lot. That was a big hit with my dad and myself. Probably one of the very first horror films I remember watching. About the giant octopus Ray Harryhausen did the effects for. And then some other ones was It's Mad, 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 Mad World, which usually the CBS, the local broadcast, would play it because it's such a long movie, it filled up a lot of space. It's a great comedy. I mean, I got that on DVD. That's a great movie. And then movies like The Hunter with Steve McQueen, which was fantastic. I remember getting on. And then finally, The Fear is the Key. And we used to watch it all the time. And usually they would show it on TV, or what would happen is the CBS Late Night movie would show that a lot. It's played on Friday nights. Dan and I always watch it. It's a great action movie. But I mean, I'm getting ahead of myself. The movie I'm reviewing is Fear is the Key. And though I had big time problems finding this, because I always thought it was the key. I always called it the key. I don't know. Dad said it was the keys on, and they never called it Fear is the Key on. I don't think on it. I don't remember. And so I remember looking for it all the time, and every time I got the movie The Key, it was that lousy Christopher. I like Christopher Lee, but he did a movie called The Key, which was awful. I remember buying that and watching that before going to was it Germany? Before going to Germany, I think, or Fort Bragg. I can't remember, because there was a bunch of films. Maybe it was before going to Fort Bragg. I remember watching it at my dad's place before my mom was going to pick me up. Or my mom's before my dad was going to pick me up. I can't remember. That was a long time ago. And that was a lousy movie. But I remember that. I remember how bad it was. And eventually I found out, not till 2013, looking, when I finally got internet, it was called Fear is the Key. I finally got a chance to watch it yesterday, Sunday. And basically it's about, I watched it multiple times, but it's the first time I've seen it probably in let's see. And wait a second, 90. Probably over 30 years. It basically involves this one guy. I don't want to give away real spoilers. But let me tell you about. Oh, also in Paternity, they had a real all-star cast. They had Peter Billingsley as a small part. And I remember those scenes where him and Burt Reynolds playing basketball. That's the one thing I remember about that. Peter Billingsley, I think it's right around the time, it was 2 years before he struck it big being Ralphie in A Christmas Story, being on the show Real People. It might have been around the time he was on Real People. I don't remember. He had a small part in there. Like Beverly, Lauren Hutton was in there. And Norman Fell was in there as a serious role as a doctor. I'm sorry, I got off track. I forgot to mention that. But going back to Fear is the Key, it had John Vernon, a great villain. He was most famous for playing the Dean on Animal House. But this is way before that. And it had the very first appearance of Ben Kingsley in a movie. Because he was just doing TV before that. I didn't even recognize him. And halfway through, I was like, hey, wait a minute, that's Ben Kingsley. Because I remember seeing I saw Ben Kingsley on the credits, and I forgot he was in it. And then Dolph Sweet was in it. And Dolph Sweet's mainly known for playing a police chief on Give Me a Break, and he was a lot heavier back then. He passed away, but he was really skinny in this one. He was almost unrecognizable, but you can recognize that mug anywhere from Dolph Sweet. It had Susie and a female lead. And boy, she could scream loud. If you thought that girl in Saturday 14th strike, Saturday 14th, the Young girl in that could scream loud. She could scream just about as loud. It basically involves Barry Newman. This is like one film in England and stuff like that. Going in Louisiana, he calls all this ruckus, and he kidnapped this one girl, and he's on this long chase, and so much other stuff happens. It's a great action film. I loved it. This is a full on 10 out of 10. The last act, the last 10, 15 minutes is what I really remember from the film. And as a kid, I was on the edge of my seat. They did it so well, and this was from TV. They did it so well. They still do it well. Alfred Hitchcock would have been proud. Fear is the Key is an unknown, lost movie that most people never heard of before. It's well worth watching. It's a fantastic film. There's little clips on YouTube. I wish it would be free on YouTube, but you have to pay to see it. You have to pay to see it on Amazon Prime too. It's for 1972. They should be included free. You know, just like that new Burt Reynolds movie is free. That Disaster Artist is free. Those are new movies. These are movies from 72 should be considered free. Just like some of the other Burt Reynolds movies, you have to pay to see them. They should be considered free. You know. But I loved Fear is the Key very much. That's a 10 out of 10. I wish I could see it again with Dad. That's an awesome, awesome movie. So I hope you like this movie review and more, like a lot of stuff. What did Joey say? So until next time, but I guess, I got distracted. Take care, my Legion. I'm going to put this up at 5 o'clock Monday. Like I said, I'll still be at work at the time. And then I got that one where it's rolling out my character for D&D. So you'll see some D&D videos kind of coming up. So I hope you like them. So, boy, I got to go get a bath, a shower. So take care, everybody. Take care, my Legion.